You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Dave, and this is a Fistful of Podcasts from FFOPradio.com. Back for another great week. This week, however, is special. We have a special guest slash co-host slash everything else. So, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Please welcome with me Eric Daniels of Sloth Fist on the show. Welcome, Eric.
Yay!
Should have heard
Uproarious
some
applause everywhere.
Well, we have a soundboard that could have.
It's off.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, that's right. I'll turn it on. No, it's on. The light is blinking. However,
You
who
said
knows
it
what's
was
happening?
off.
Guys, the show's already off the rails. It's been a minute.
I have that effect on things.
So, obviously, before we jump into Eric and his whole deal, let's introduce Krista, because she's over there on the couch.
I am on the couch.
The soundboard is booting up, warming up. The tubes are starting to glow, so who knows what the future will hold. So, Eric, let's dig into it, man. We had Mark on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, he was like, hey, man, Sloth Fist, check it out. And I was like, oh, my God, I love that album. So when I approached him to come back on and do a second round, because the whole video thing was coming out, which we'll get to, he's like, why don't you talk to Eric? And I'm like, why not?
Yeah, you should talk to me. I'm much more interesting than Mark is.
That's the important part. Everybody can be a nice guy, but can you be a sparkling personality?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love you, Mark. But come on. I've just got way higher charisma. We all know it.
We all have to, it's self-awareness. So let's break it down, Eric. So first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally? And also, let me tell everybody, you're the lead singer.
Yes.
I don't want to leave that in the dark.
Lead singer / frontman, principal songwriter, head turd of Sloth Fist is my official job title. I'm
love
originally from North Carolina. Spent first 5 years of my life there. I played in bands there. It was cool. Got married, came down to Texas, and that's where I live now.
Okay.
I've been kicking around here for more than 10 years. I won't tell people exactly how old I am.
Well, I can roughly ballpark your age at this point.
That's a good stuff.
But you at least had to work for it,
Yeah, that's the way to do it. If you're older than you are comfortable expressing it, be like, well, 15 years ago I lived here, 10 years ago I was here, and then just sort of leave the breadcrumbs. And if they care, they'll figure it out.
The onus is on them at that point.
Yeah. All right, so not for some reason I thought you were a Texas native.
Well, a lot of people who know me today would think that as well. I've assimilated well.
That's the earmark of a good artist. You can slip into a community.
Yeah, I went the whole Monty. I got cowboy boots. I got a pick 'em up truck. I got a shotgun somewhere back there.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, if you're gonna go Texas, go Texas.
Right. That's the thing. If you're gonna live with the fish, learn how to swim.
You don't want to stand out.
So from North Carolina to Texas, let's talk about less of the moving and more of the shaking. Let's talk. Obviously, you are the singer, frontman, etc. But what about the instruments? Do you play them?
I do. I mentioned I'm one of the primary songwriters of the band, and when I first started the band, it was my brainchild with me, my drummer, and eventually we found Mark, and that was kind of like the trio. We did our first album as a 3-piece.
Cool.
But yeah, I play guitar, I play bass, I play drums. I've been playing music for a long time, and that's just all I know how to do, really.
That's awesome. Well, okay, since you're a jack of all trades, let me ask you this, because not many people can wrap their minds around all of those things at once. So what do you find, not as your favorite, but what was the most challenging to learn?
Oh, drums, because like you have to have like a physical element to it.
Yeah.
You could just stand there and do this, just strum a guitar all day long and it's nothing. Try playing, 20 minutes worth of punk songs and tell me you didn't get a cardio workout.
Woof. Yeah, especially like if you're into that fast shit and you do the double bass, like I can't believe there's ever been a fat drummer.
Oh, there has been. I've seen.
I know.
In Texas, there's a dude, and I'm not gonna name names. I'm not trying to shame anybody, but dude is massive, and he just beats the hell out of those drums too. He loses probably 10 pounds while he drums.
Sure. Yeah. Oh my
and
gosh,
has to get it back the next day.
That's what I kind of thought, because with the bass and the guitar, it's only using the upper half of your physicality.
And you got to use more of your brain, I guess, to play those things. You know, there's more rudiments, whereas at least to me, rhythm it comes just from the heart.
Right.
I don't necessarily know that you can learn rhythm. You got it or you don't.
I think to a certain extent you are right, because there are some people who just, no matter how hard they try, can never seem to grasp certain elements, but that's on them.
Yeah. Everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses, and it's not on me to decide who's better. I just go with my thing and do it, So what was the first instrument you picked up? Bass, actually.
Really? Okay. I'm a bass player myself, full disclosure.
Yeah. My first instrument was a Candy Apple Red Squire jazz bass that we got from Mars Music back when I was never short, but when I was not as tall. I was probably 13. Picked that up because my buddy played guitar and my other buddy played drums. So like, what was left for me?
Yeah, you had to fall into.
They also
line.
said it was easy. Like I only had to play one note at a time. So they're like, here you go. You can figure this one out.
It's true. That's why I fell off of. That's what I fell onto after the guitar kicked me off.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, that's really not surprising, because I just take for granted that every bass player will pick up the drums someday.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just my close-minded, but like all of my favorite bass players do that. They like Les Claypool is the one that hit me the first time. I was like, oh, he plays the drums too. And then I found that pattern like literally everywhere.
It's the rhythm section, man. Like they always want to stick together. And that's why when I started Sloth Fist, it was based off the connection with my drummer. Because I played in another band with him before, and like we have that sense of rhythm, and we can both like suss that out super easy. Yeah. So that kind of led to all of this.
Let me run this up your flagpole and see if you fit. If we were to cut a band in half, like a classic 4-person band, or you say, pick your favorite one, and you have to go 2-on-2. 10 times out of 10, the bassist goes with the drummer and the singer goes with the guitar player.
Yeah.
They are Siamese twins.
No, it's exactly that. The guitar is the instrument that is most in tune with the human voice, which is why it's the most popular instrument for like singer-songwriter stuff, besides maybe like a piano, which is also that middle C is a average human voice's middle C.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So, they stick together, whereas the groove is all about the groove. It's about the funk. It's about the...
Yes.
Like, that's my people.
Yeah, and if that's the thing, it's part of. There's two types of people here, Eric. We get your guitars and your singers, and you get your bass and your drums, and you will almost never have one see the other the way they should.
Yeah,
bass and drums take a lot of shit.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, I've given them a lot of shit too, but
sometimes it's necessary.
But as one, I'm allowed to say those things. That's I've earned my stripes.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've got credibility, so I'll totally buy that. So now let's start from the beginning, as far as bands go. Now, give me a rough tally from start till Sloth Fist. How many bands, roughly? Ballpark it if you can't give me a real number.
40.
Whoa! I've been in 3.
No, I really couldn't tell you all of them. Especially in my 20s. God, I was a slut. I was just, Oh, you want me to play guitar? You want me to play bass? You want me to play drums? You want me to... Hell, I played percussion in a, surf band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just had, my little timbalas and, I don't even remember what half the thing, be like...
Yeah. That's
I was doing
awesome.
all of that crap, the vibra slap, I just did that in a band. And
That's how you know you love music, because music is not stuck to an instrument. It's not like a stain. It's everywhere.
yeah, I just want to play. Like that's been my whole life. That's my passion in life.
That's
is music.
awesome. So how about this? Since of the 40 bands, I'm in love with the name Sloth Fist.
Yeah.
Give me some of the highlights of the 40, because you've got to have some. You're punk bands. Like, give me some good names, man.
That I've actually played in. I guess one that the most people would probably know, just like nationwide, would be a band called the Antagonizers.
Okay.
When I played with them, they were the Bull City Antagonizers, and now it's Antagonizers ATL, because the dude who is that band
Right.
moved to Atlanta. So
yeah. Well, give me your favorite. Don't give me notoriety. I want your personal favorite.
My first favorite band that I was in was called the Semantics. They were in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it was that was the first band I was the lead singer in, and they were also older than me. That's I was like 19, and we were like going around playing shows, and I was drinking in bars, and nobody questioned it because I was with the band, and
you can write that ticket.
Yeah, and I was just like, it opened up a whole new world to me. So that's always gonna have a soft spot in my heart. Past that, when I first moved to Texas, I joined a band called Responsible Johnny, which I hate the name of that band. And
really,
Rob, if you listen to this, I will always hate the name of the band. But it's a fun band. You know, it's like queers, dwarves.
Okay.
You know, like 3/4 chord punk. That's like gross. You know, we play songs like "Took a Shit on Your Mom." I sold the couch for meth. My cocaine is vegan. Just know, just like ridiculous shit like that, and it was fun. And you know, we didn't take it so seriously to where we like drew what was the fun of being just dumbasses.
Right. There's value in that. Like, you don't have to. I think everybody takes themselves so fucking seriously. It's to their detriment.
Yeah.
Like, I had, this is a personal story, but I had a ska band that I grew up loving, and it was referred to me a couple of times as a novelty band. And I thought, fuck that. Don't tell me my shit's a novelty. Like, I don't care if you want to say it's funny, but it's valuable.
Yeah. It always has been. You know, I grew up listening to the Dwarves, and they're totally just that
crazy.
They have funny songs, and they make you laugh, and they're a little gross, but sometimes you just want a dick and fart joke. Yeah.
If that weren't true, we wouldn't have pop culture.
for better or for worse.
Yeah. So now you've given me the ones that you love because of the bands. Now, what were the names that maybe you loved that didn't care about the bands?
I've only been in a handful of bands that actually had like what I considered good names, because I was personally involved in picking very few. I like the band name Blood Red River, which was which was that surf band I was telling you all about earlier. It just fit the aesthetic. It was the perfect name for the band. Everything like jived. So I just like the imagery that it conjures.
I can totally see that, like emptying it out into the ocean. I love that imagery.
And I was in a band called Black Habits, which is now defunct, but I just like it's a pretty easy name, so to speak. A color and a thing. But
band names are so interesting because the good ones seldom have interesting stories, and the terrible ones always have interesting stories, but no one wants to hear them because the band names are fucking terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, and I played in a band called Quickie Fix one time. Okay. And that might be the worst band name I've ever been. And Fix had 2 X's.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, that was bad.
Oh boy. Okay, yeah, but we all have to make mistakes to find out what works. And
hey, Oh, the other, if I'm gonna rag on shitty band names, I used to be in the Villians. It's like the Villains, but you change the A and the I.
Oh boy, yeah, my God. Yeah, you were making whatever you could stick.
Yeah, God. That was the one time I was in a horror punk band. which I don't like wearing like face paint and shit, so that didn't last long for me.
Yeah. That humans want to do the path of least resistance. I respect Kiss immensely for wearing face paint for going on 90 years. They every day wake up and put that shit on.
I'm not hating on bands that do it. I'm just saying it ain't for me.
Yeah, it takes a dedication and a certain type of person. It's nice to dabble. I get it. But woof.
Also, I'm not shaving the beard, and
Right.
like corpse paint with a beard just looks. I'm
good.
sorry. Like cut it or don't.
I also am a rocker of the beard, and it really stymies me around Halloween, around every time I need to look the way somebody does without a beard.
I also found out you can't go scuba when you've got a beard.
Oh, because it can't make the seal, right?
Yeah, it won't
sense.
seal.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you could go scuba diving or you can keep your beard. And I was like, well, I guess I'll keep my beard then.
The beard.
Bye.
Here's what you and I have done, Eric.
I'll be on the beach.
Yeah. We chose what we want, God damn it. And we make no exceptions. Sure, when I wear a beard, or when I wear the beard,
When I put it on.
when I put it on every morning, you know, it is, and living in Arizona, you must feel similarly in Texas in the summer months when the sweat is pouring through your mustache and down through your cheeks that no one can see, but only you are suffering through.
Yeah.
You think to yourself, God damn it, this thing's worth it.
Ugh, and isn't it humid in Texas too?
Yeah.
Blech.
Yeah.
That just shows how dedicated you are.
Right.
It's not super bad up here in North Texas, but it's not dry. It's not that arid desert heat.
Yeah. Arizona is a lightning in a bottle. If you're going to be hot, you might as well be dry. That's what I'm saying. So let's crack into Sloth Fist a little bit. First of all, the name, give me the origin of the Sloth Fist name.
Well, so I was telling you about how I kind of split off with my drummer. Well, I say split off, but we're still both in the band that we were in when we started this, so that's not really totally accurate. But we decided we wanted to do a band with a sound that was a little different than what we had been playing. And around that time, you know, we were not doing much in any of the bands. So I'd gone on vacation to Costa Rica, and I was just kicking it over there, and they've got sloths over there. And just while I was there, just like examining, like thinking about what I want to do with music. Cause like even on vacation, that's what I'm thinking about when I'm not like, you know, actively doing something else.
If you live it, you live it.
And, you know, I was just sitting there on a little chair, and I just saw a sloth up there, and was like, well, I got half the name. And then just kind of worked it out from there, just putting different words in front of and behind it until
So it was simply just like a cut and paste sort of thing where you just wait until something clicked?
Yeah, I just would get like random name generators and just like get a list of words and just slide sloth on this side and then slide sloth on that side and then refresh it and go again and again. And I probably spent 3 fucking hours just pulling up random words on the internet.
You know, if not the most pragmatic, that is the most interesting way I've ever seen. It's like essentially taking it out of your own hands and throwing it to fate. But you still have to be like, this one sucks, fate.
Yeah. And a lot of them did. You know, like most of them were pretty god-awful. And, you know, Mark didn't like the name.
No?
When I first... I gave a list of 3, which I do not recall the other 2, unfortunately.
Dang it.
But...
Sloth Pineapple and Flamingo Sloth.
There's a few. They all had sloth in them, and he was like, "I guess this one, but like I don't like any of them." And then I was like, "Okay, well, you give us a better name," and then he conceded.
Yeah. Everybody's got a better idea until they have to give it.
Yeah. Yep.
We've all been there. It's a human thing.
Yeah, you know, but it stuck because I am the dictator around here anyway. So.
And it works. Like, I love it. I was, and the fact that it's surprising because, again, I like to say that there are 2 types of people, but then you go ahead and shoot right in the middle. Your band name is neither meaningless and irrelevant, nor is it meaningful completely and with a fully fleshed, interesting story.
Yeah, it's you know, I'm just walking the line.
That's the most incredible thing.
Like, I was waiting for it to be like, yeah, I saw a sloth in the tree.
And then, I was waiting for the second half of the story, like, and then
I got in a fist fight.
Yeah. Or I was like, Cobra Kai's my new mojo or something. And you're just like, no, I just random number generator.
Yeah. Build up and then just no climax. Story of my life.
That's, you know what? Some stories you just want to be left hanging. Now, keep in mind, I realize this is the most annoying question in the world on top of being impossible. Because self-appraisal is impossible. But if you were to describe the sound of Sloth Fist, I could do it, but I want to hear how you feel that Sloth Fist comes across.
So I have pondered on this, and the best grouping of words I could come up with to describe the sound is hardcore punk rock and roll.
Yes. Yeah, you're exactly right. But there's an endless amount of modifiers you could throw on it.
Yeah, there is that.
But yeah, because it's if you were going to throw it into one of 5 buckets, rock, jazz, yada, 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 you definitely nailed all the 3. But now if I had to take a stab at it, it's like a raucous, aggressive, but not angry sort of Mothman is Real. Let's just talk about that track.
Yeah.
It's a fun adventure story. And you can't say that in regards to music because what do you sound like? Oh, we're hardcore punk rock and roll. Yes, that is correct. However, it's also a compelling and interesting narrative told through an aggressive, it's undescribable. That's what I'm getting at. But it's awesome.
But big fan. Also, that song is based off of what someone's recollection of a true story is.
Aren't they all? So do you have the salient details of that recollected story via a third party?
Yes.
I would love to hear them.
I play with a guy. His name, Phipps, is Phipps. Phipps with 3 P's. This dude is a trip. I couldn't even begin to. I could spend 2 hours just talking about the anomaly that is Phipps. But
we've all got one of those guys.
The compressed version of it is he is a wandering spirit, just too weird to live, too rare to die type.
Okay, yeah.
So he's belligerent, drinking a bunch of beers, smoking a bunch of drugs, just cruising around, causing mayhem as a young delinquent. Okay. And he just blitzed out of his mind, just like smashes his car and like rolls out. And as he does, he sees the Mothman looking down on him, and he gets up from something that he should have died from, and is able to walk away. The cops don't come, just spared him from the mischief he had wrought upon himself. And that had happened to him a couple of different times where he like heard the flapping wings right before something tragic happened.
Okay.
But he walked away from it every time. So it was like the Mothman was punishing him, but also protecting him. And that's kind of what that song is about.
Huh.
Now that you tell me that story, yes, that's the narrative of now I don't want to just blast through all these topics because they're not getting the time that they need. But now you've sort of transitioned us into the video because the video freshly released.
Yeah.
For Mothman is Real. Super awesome. I was able to get an advanced screening. Mark leaked it to me.
Ooh.
And it was so fun. Oh my God. And obviously now that is the story. And like any other sort of mythology, if you stop and look at what's actually happening, you'd be like, But there's a lesson in there. I don't want to give it to you. But if you pick it apart and if you come away thinking the Mothman is real, you've missed it. Personally,
but he is real.
Yeah,
he is real. He's 100% real.
Oh yeah, and he's hanging out with the Jersey Devil. Let me ask you this: so the Mothman, where did this encounter take place? Because every locale has its own cryptid. Where did this happen?
Well, it wasn't in West Virginia where the Mothman actually lives.
Actually,
people can't see air quotes on a podcast.
Oh shit! Sorry, I air quoted, guys.
There's no sound for that either.
One of his experiences was in California, and I want to say his other one was in like Colorado. So I guess he was making his way back east.
Back home.
Interesting. So I've got a similar story if you'll indulge.
Ah, please.
When I was a young man, I made a bunch of foolish decisions and dated this girl who was a little cuckoo. She did the whole like there was no word for it back then, but it was like a desperate longing to live in medieval times and be a princess. And I was like, okay, so we're just like, what do they call other kin and all that other whatever fetish type stuff? Anyway, moral of the story is that relationship obviously dissolved. I moved on. And later somehow stumbled upon her when social media was happening. I think if you remember MySpace, that was like Facebook for old timers. We hooked up there and I was like, oh, hey, let's check in. I'll see what's up. We'll grab a coffee. And she told me the following story.
Uh-oh.
She says, I say, oh, what's up? She says, man, my life's dream is still to travel back in time and live in the Renaissance. And I said, really? You want to give up air conditioning and toilet paper? Fine. I say, what else has been going on? She says, well, you won't believe it, but I've got this demon friend who hangs out with me and keeps an eye out. First time I saw him, you're going to think this is crazy, Dave. And I was like, yeah, I can't wait. She says, I saw him in the mirror. He was a huge blue werewolf from Scotland. I don't know how she knew that. Maybe she checked his driver's license. Scottish blue werewolf who's, I don't know why she had to tell me this, but she did. She said the crotch of this animal was a constant black swirling void.
Oh my God.
I just figured he had a regular old werewolf dick or was wearing shorts. Little did I know it was a black hole. And I said, okay, so what does this guy do for you? And she goes, he hangs out right behind me. He keeps me safe. And I said, this has been great. I look forward to our next meeting. And guess what our next meeting was? Never. That is the answer.
My guess was going to be prison.
Right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. If it was a story told with like that sort of harmless earnestness, I would have been like, oh, great, you're just harmlessly crazy. But there was an intensity to it, especially with the genital mentioning. I thought, we're off the rails.
Wow. How the fuck does that even work? Like, how do you have a void for a penis?
You know what?
Like, anatomically, I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around that one.
Here's what I think, backwards logic being the prevailing theory here. My thing is that if I were a giant blue Scottish werewolf coming to protect a young girl, the sight of it is going to be imposing already. So if you have mastery over yourself, why not black hole your penis to make her a little less awkward? Or better yet, cargo shorts, Old Navy. They're like $9.99.
And those are as good as chastity belts.
Yeah. I mean, in hindsight, I should have asked her. I should have said, why not cargo pants? But it was a black hole. So I can't change history, but I did name my last band A Werewolf's Black Hole Dick. No, I didn't.
Oh, you should have.
Should have.
Squandered opportunity.
Well, it was after my banding days. Here's another self-serving story. I wanted one of my bands. Our singer was named Hope. Three of us wanted the band to be Hope and the Red Strings because we played so hard our strings were bloody. And she said, no, that's a period reference, and left it at that.
And it is.
I know, but still, it's a cool name. Even if it is a period.
But that's the thing. Like, it's a cool name after you explain why it is. And you'd have to do that to literally everybody.
No, I wouldn't. It's up to them. If they want to see in their mind's eye red sewing thread, then, whatever.
Disgusting is in the ear of the beholder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think, yeah, that's the thing. Like, do you think with a little mystery, because you walk up to a Dwarfs album cover, they're not leaving anything to the imagination.
Mm-mm.
You know what you're getting into when you pick up a Dwarfs album, and there's literally tons of nude women and dwarves covered in blood.
Well, especially when you pick up an album that's literally titled Blood, Guts, and Pussy.
Yeah.
That gives you a pretty concise picture of what they're about.
Truth in advertising is more respectable than anything else, I feel.
Yeah, you gotta respect someone who shoots it the way that we talk it.
Mm-hmm. Genuineicity, if that's a word. So, speaking of that video so long ago, I have some questions about shooting a music video.
Yeah, bring it.
So, in my head, it always just seems like we set up the camera in every setting, you sing the song 4 times, and they cut it all together in the end, right?
That's not correct. There is a fair amount of that. Especially for this one, we actually like rolled out a green screen so that, you know, you could like paste us into corners and all of that.
I want to hear about the complexities in the background of it all.
But, you know, that part was just us sitting in a green room. Each person does like 2 or 3 takes. And that's not so much fun. Especially because the drums, if you want to have them actually like looking like they're playing the drums, it means you have to have the music really loud so that the drummer can hear it. So they play in time with it, which, depending on the location, isn't always easy to do because, you know, you can put the cup on your cell phone and it still's not going to go over the drums.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, but the other parts were a little more intricate because Mark's son did all that for us. And he's got all sorts of toys. Like he had a drone shoot us part of it.
Yeah. It's so well made. I want to stress that up front and let it not go without being mentioned. It is so well made. I thought for sure this was like a full-blown grindhouse like trailer.
Yeah, I think he really did a good job of capturing that aesthetic. I like that the only color was the eyes. Mm-hmm. I really liked that about it. And I also like that this is the 3rd Sloth Fist music video that has featured my shed in it.
Yeah, I mean, now it's part of the band.
We've gotten a lot of mileage on that shed.
Yeah, because the drumming thing brings up an interesting topic because that always pops up in my head. Because when you see in a music video of just a band in a white void where no one's instruments are plugged in, but it obviously looks like they're playing the drums, that must be a nightmare to try and coordinate in real life.
Yeah, without some like really big speakers, it's kind of a nightmare. Either that or the drummer's got to wear headphones, which just looks goofy.
Right.
Sitting there with his AirPods in playing drums. No, get the fuck out of here.
So when you're making music videos, I never knew it, you know, obviously when people make music videos, it always looks like they're actually doing it. So you're not actually singing or you're not actually playing.
And I do my best to play along with it. If I can play at a volume that's low enough that I can hear the recording. Mm-hmm. And I do actually sing when I'm singing because it looks dumb when your throat doesn't move, but your mouth does.
Yeah, you need to see those veins in your neck.
Right.
Especially like when I'm screaming, like, you know, if I'm just like, well, it's late over here. I'm not going to scream and scare my wife, but you know, there's veins on your neck that pop up and you can tell it reads on film.
Yeah. Cause it just seems like that would be a matter of course is like, you could just, you know, if you've got your electric guitar, your electric bass, you can play it as hard as you want. Cause it's not going to like, and plus you're going to cut all the sound out in the end anyway.
Yep.
But it's just in the moment.
Except one time with a Responsible Johnny, we made a music video. And the dude who put it together left the audio track from the recording. So like you heard the song and then you just heard twink 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 twink.
Perfect.
It was like, really, dude?
You could have leaned into that and called it some sort of modern expressionist art.
Oh yeah.
You could have been like checking that out. No one's doing.
No, we already kicked the Zappa dude out of our band. We don't. We don't need any of that.
Oh my God. So now you say this is the 3rd music video with the shed. How many music videos for Sloth Fist have there been so far?
7?
Nice.
Let's see here. 2 for the first one. 6. So this will be the 6th.
So are these, because I see on your Bandcamp, you've obviously got Mothman is Real, and then the album before that must be the trio stuff?
Yes. It's called Live Slow, Die Whenever.
That is a great name.
I thought so. I kind of wish we had saved it for the full length, but I spent my wad too early.
I think Mothman is Real. especially when you couple it with the album art. Like you can't see it because this is a podcast, and even if you could, it's up on the wall. I have your album art and cover framed. It replaced the Friday the 13th, the television series soundtrack, so that's
nice.
a place of honor.
Moving on up. All right.
But I love that goddamn artwork, and if you had gone with that first name, we would have been denied that.
Yep. And honestly, it was a good idea because a while ago, like a Fallout game came out, Fallout 76, and they had Mothman in there. And I found like when like that subject spikes, so do listens on that song. Because people just because they're just like thinking about Mothman, so they just type Mothman into Spotify and like click on songs.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And also, like, if I were allowed to pick apart your album art for just a moment, like it illustrates everything. Every reason why like cryptids and other like monsters and shit really couldn't exist, because at some point they're going to have to sit down, relax, and stop being monsters.
Yep.
And if you look at the album art for Mothman is Real, he's just a regs ass dude, which we all are, monster or no. We all got to take our underwear off at the end of the day. We all got to sit down and take a load off. And I fucking love that thing.
Is that a bong?
It is a bong.
Nice.
Yeah,
There's
there's a
also.
whole lot going on. There's porno mags. There's
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's the thing. He's just like everybody else. He has a crappy apartment because he's a monster. Who's going to hire him?
Yeah, you don't make a lot of money, just terrorizing things.
Yeah. I mean, eventually somebody's going to drop a 20.
Yeah, but the pension shit.
Yeah, it's a rough life, but he chose it, and that's why I respect him.
Hey man, he knows what he's good at and he sticks with it, and God bless him for it.
Yeah, as far as future plans for Sloth Fist, are we working on? I would hope, and obviously there's probably something going on behind the scenes for a new and upcoming album. Maybe not new, but eventually.
Not looking to record it tomorrow, but we've got probably 8 songs written for it.
Nice.
Here's my fear, Eric, because you are at the end of a very long and convoluted pattern, because I found the long and short of it is I found your favorite train wreck, which led me to Far Side, which led me to this, that, and the other thing. And here we are, you and I, talking about Sloth Fist. So what I was not wanting to hear was, oh, we're a one and done sort of thing. It was a concept and now we're out. I would be so fucking angry at you because that first one, full disclosure, I'm not trying to I make nothing off of this, but I listen to that album all the time. It's on repeat, or it's in every playlist in my house and car and phone. And if you were going to be like, well, yeah, that's it, I'd be angry, but at least we got the first one.
No, that was never the intention here, because myself and my drummer, and to some extent the other guys in the band as well, we write a lot of songs, and we want an avenue to put them out, even if they don't sound like this or sound like that. And that's the thing that I think's the coolest about my band. We don't play the same song 12 times and call it an album. There's influences of this, there's influences of that. We'll have a poppy number, we'll have a thrashier number, we'll have a just straight up rock and roll type number, and I think that makes for a much more interesting listening experience. It
completely does, because maybe this is just my impression as just a casual intaker of music, but there was a time in my life where I was buying albums consistently where I could it was like opening up a sheet of paper that had the waltz on it. It was intro song that was strong, sort of mediocre. Here's their ballad. Here's their power, blah, 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 blah. And we're out. It was the same pattern every time. I was like, boring. Now, like your album does, another favorite of mine was when Les Claypool teamed up with Buckethead and Bernie Worrell and The Brain and put out that fantastic album, because it was something different every song. And, sometimes you'd be like, oh, that's so crazy and weird, I hate it. But you heard it, so sorry about it. It expanded your horizons.
And that's what, too many people get hung up on, we're a pop punk band, we're a metal band, we're a doom band, whatever the hell you are. A good song is a good song, man. I don't care.
Exactly.
Like, if I wrote a country song today and I thought it ripped, I'd fucking bring it up.
Yeah.
Let's do it. About to fucking yodel. I don't care.
That's what separates like the men from the boys. The men stay true to themselves. What you can do is you can go and have somebody else write all your songs for you and have a consistent tone and theme. But how often do you ask someone, "Hey, who's your favorite band?" If they're completely dead behind the eyes, they'll go like the Backstreet Boys, or I like Lady Gaga, or whatever. So whatever their thing is, if they're stuck to a flavor, that's their thing, which I cannot decry as evil because people get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
But why not do everything you want all the time and not have to be like, oh, I can't release that song because it's not pop enough. Fuck that shit.
I don't get the point putting those kinds of limitations on yourself. I get it if you have like a very specific theme or a very, like a niche in mind and that's what you want to play to. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard the band Masked Intruder, but
no,
they're like a pop punk band and they have like a definite like niche that they're doing. They have a gimmick. Yeah, and so they have to do the same thing. And as a result, they've got some really cool songs, but I get tired of the same song.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Again and again, regurgitated, just slightly moved around.
You got your gradient, as we all. I think if you crank that knob up to 11 on the music aesthetic dial, you get Gwar.
Yeah.
I think if you lose all aesthetic and it's just on the songs themselves, you got yourselves a Linda Ronstadt, you got yourself an Eric Daniels, you got yourself a Popeye. And that's the thing is like, I cannot look at someone who likes Gwar, if you're listening, Keith. I cannot look at you and say that's wrong. Because if you look at that shit, I may think it's completely pointless and awful, and I do.
Well,
but
you're wrong because Gwar fucking rules.
I cannot. Here's the thing. I cannot say that it's all terrible because as much as I would love to say no and write it all off, I was forced to watch the Gwar motion picture.
Oh, you're going to have to be more specific because there were several.
Okay. Shit.
Are you talking about Phallus in Wonderland?
Phallus in Wonderland. Yes.
Okay.
So the silver lining that Phallus in Wonderland delivered, wrapped around the turd that was thrown at my feet, was the song. Is it The Lonely Road?
Oh yeah. That's not the.
What is it called? You know what I mean, though. Road Behind.
Road Behind. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. The Road Behind. The Road Behind, I think, is a brief glimpse in a breaking of aesthetic to be true to that person. That the bass player's name, I forget.
Beefcake the Mighty.
Right. Okay. Beefcake. I think that was Beefcake's winning of like, I want to do a thing that is not us. And that's why I like it. It's a breaking away.
They do a lot of that, actually. Like especially like in that era, the like late 80s, early 90s Gwar, they definitely just played around with like ballads and just like silly like rap songs almost.
Yeah, and that's the stuff I like, ironically. It's not their stuff that like the stuff you think of when you think of Gwar is not why I like Gwar.
You see, I'm not as big of a fan of the like old Gwar because the recording quality is not great on some of it.
Right.
And that's like the 80s metal where the guitar just that buzzsaw it kind of like wears on my ears after a little while.
You're probably in the same camp as me because I consider myself a mild audiophile, and I would listen to albums growing up and be like, you want some clarity on whether this is a lack of funds or an aesthetic choice. Because you can be a Norwegian death metal band, produce a record that sounds like ass because you recorded it in a haunted forest with zero sound like concepts whatsoever. Or you can go into a studio, spend $10 million on something that intentionally sounds like dog shit.
Yeah. And in the 80s, a lot of people did that exact thing.
Which is weird.
I'm going to pay someone thousands of dollars to scoop all the mid-range out of my guitar.
I don't
Because that'll
get
sound great in 5 years.
Yeah, I don't, there must be something about it that like, it hit somebody, they thought it was a good idea, realized it wasn't, but wasn't able to convince the second person it wasn't in time. And then it spread like a disease.
And it's not even about the money, because, like, take the Dead Kennedys, Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables.
Okay.
That album was recorded for, like, a couple $100 or something. Like, you know,
Right.
this was way back then, and it was not at, like, a reputable studio.
Mm.
It still sounds a hell of a lot better than what Rat was doing in their, like,
Right.
label paid for studio.
And I think that comes down to just a matter of, like, passion. Because if you have zero money, but unlimited passion, you can take that nothing and turn it into something. If you're Rat and you've got $1 million to throw at some idiot who doesn't care how your album sounds, but is following the trends, you get Rat's album.
Sorry, and I love Round and Round. You know, you guys. Look,
I'm
I'm not even shitting on Rat, because you know what? If I could write one hit song and be like cool off the rest of my life,
Yeah. Eddie
Please.
Money has been cashing that check literally his entire life.
he has way more songs than you think he does.
I'm sure he does, but
I won
for the
tickets to see him. It was tickets for Blue Oyster Cult
in Paradise.
but Eddie Money was there.
Oh,
And yeah, I was like, I know like 5 of these songs. I thought he just did the 2 Tickets to Paradise. Like I didn't know he had songs. Some of them are good.
He's got a couple of them, but you won't. One of the bands that I'll give you 2 examples. In the 90s alternative, 90s grunge, it swept over me like a wave of warm water. I loved all of it. And then going back and revisiting, like, not having all the money I have today, I was only able to hear some bands on the radio, and then getting their albums, I'm like, what happened here? But there are some nice surprises too, because I got, you know, whatever your opinion on them is, the Matchbox 20's Mad Season, not a bad album. You know, but I got it because I was like, oh, what a nostalgic throwback, and it's $2.99. But I've gotten way more than
price.
Yeah, I've gotten way more than $3 worth of value out of it. However, Tonic's Lemon Parade, I've gotten exactly $3 out of.
I bought records that gotten less.
So I have a question.
Oh, please.
Back to like writing songs. So when you write a song, now you say you have like 8 songs written for your next album. Do you know what kind of melody or music or like what kind of song you're going to play with the words that you wrote down for the song?
Well, the words always come last for me. The structure of the song indicates to me what I should write the words about. Because basically I'll kind of give you a brief rundown of the process. Someone will have a riff. It might be me, it might be Ralph, it might be anyone. Anyone will bring a riff or a series of riffs, and we'll kind of play around on those and kind of figure out what the parts should be. And as the people who are playing instruments are doing that, I'm kind of like punk rock scatting over it. I like finding my melody and just using like words and repetitive tones to like find how I want the melody to be.
That's an excellent strategy.
And just spouting nonsense, just rhyming words with themselves, just whatever, just trying to get how I think it should sound. Because let's face it, I play in a punk rock band and I scream a lot, and most people are not going to be able to understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, but punk is all about the emotion, not necessarily the words.
Well, exactly. And so for me, being able to get like the melody where I want it to be and the rhythm of the like syllables, I think is more important than the actual words that are filling those syllables. So I find that first, and then I put in words to fit those syllables that I wrote.
That's interesting because for me anyway, most of the people I encounter who are songwriters do the words first and then craft a melody around it. But either way, I've had it done either way, is what I'm saying, because I can see.
I can't do that. I've tried, because I've got notebooks full of lyrics back there, like 500 songs. And I've tried to put music to words that I've written already, and it just never works for me. I just cannot ever find it.
Because that's not because you're going at it backwards. Like
Yeah.
you can't ride a bike facing the other way. You know what I mean? You've taught yourself how to do this, and it's more. I feel, in my personal opinion, that is a more visceral way of writing because you're feeling the music, which is going to carry the tone of the song. The words, quite possibly, don't even need to mean anything. But when you listen to Mothman is Real, you watch that video. Even if you have zero idea what you're saying, if you are just listening to the music, because a lot of people, if you're going to listen to a song, sometimes you check out and the lyrics are coming in, you still need to be told that story. And if it's not telling you a story, you're not going to listen despite whatever lyrics are on there. There's a saying, somebody said it once, and I'm going to say it here. Lyrics are just an excuse to get people to listen to music longer. Because take away the lyrics of any song, and you've got a very structured, in most cases, like, here's this, here's the chorus, here's the bridge, here's this, we're out.
Yep.
But a lyricist, a good lyricist, can take you from a repetitive 30-second, minute and a half, whatever track, and make you listen to a 9-minute song.
Yeah, Lord knows I can't listen to instrumental music where songs are that long.
You need to be taken on a journey.
I need something to help me along there. Now, strangely enough, I don't have to understand the words at all. I know no one can really see it, but the shirt I'm wearing right now is of a Japanese doom metal band. Okay. And I can't understand a single word that they have ever said.
Don't have to.
But the music is just so good that I can listen to 7-minute long songs and I'm like, okay, yeah, this rules.
Yeah, there are so many bands out there, and you don't even realize it until you accidentally stumble upon one. Because in the early days of this show, I would go to Bandcamp or wherever and pull music from people. I would say, hey, can I use your music on my show? Since you're not signed or unlicensed, I don't have to pay you. And they'd say, yeah, sure. So I found a great, unbelievably good Polish, not quite ska, not quite rock, not quite big band, but they were called Estrada Nagrania, and I know at least 1% of the Polish language due to that album.
Nice.
I mean, know it in that I can say it out loud. I don't know what I'm saying.
Right.
But that just goes to show you, I don't know what the words are, but each of those songs is still a story to me. And I'm like, oh, I want to hear more every time.
That's
because
like Rammstein.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that Rammstein is another, a nice mainstream one that people can connect to. But you're being taken on a journey. Even if you don't know what they're saying, it's still compelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a good voice with a good and it kind of goes back to that same thing. It's not about what they're saying. It's the way, the emotion they put into it, the inflection that they put into it, the pauses, the holds, everything. It all, you can paint such a visceral picture that way, and that's what's really appealing about it to me.
I have a CD in my car. Well, not anymore because my car doesn't have a CD player. But since high school, I have had a Juanes CD, and I had it on rotation. I knew all the songs. I don't know a lot of Spanish, but I mean, I took Spanish in high school and college. But I knew all the words that he was singing, but I have no idea exactly what he was talking about.
I do better with Spanish because I actually know a little bit of that.
Yeah, if you're from the South or Southwest, it's easy to sort of wrap your ear around Spanish because the 3 or 4 Gypsy Kings albums I own, I could sing them, but if you were like, oh, what do those mean? I mean, it's a nice song.
It's pretty though, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. You're being, because when you're if you're sitting in your car and you want to get pumped up, you're not looking for really inspirational lyrics. You're hitting next, next, next for every slow intro. Mm-hmm. If you hear the bass or the drums kick in, you're in for a ride, and that's what you want. If you want something slow, you can obviously go for that. That's your thing. But the words don't matter. You're going to get pumped up. That's why people love techno. Those are weirdos who can turn off their need for human connection and just get with a machine.
Oh, that was like me with Prodigy. Prodigy was my jam in college.
Prodigy is interesting enough, though.
I don't take the right kind of drugs for that. You're just
it's a very special person that can get into techno.
Well, I needed it to keep myself awake from driving at night from college to home on a dark highway. I needed to have that to keep me awake.
Yeah, see, I would put on like a Pennywise record or something where the drums are just, like, and chugging, Red Bulls and just,
Yeah, I think as long as Red Bull exists, they'll be handing out the memory of a late night gas station nighttime drive in the middle of somewhere feverishly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Stopping off at the Loves to,
Yeah, as long, but that should be the icon of America, is a Love's truck stop sign with a nice big, like, glistening Red Bull at the end of a long driveway.
That's freedom right there, baby.
That's America. If you've never driven someplace long enough to find a Love's and drink a Red Bull, you haven't lived. You're half a man or a woman.
I feel like we stopped at one when we drove to Reno.
Yeah, we have to. You have to.
And there was a strip club, like,
if you're a human, you stop
in
at
the
a
parking
Love's.
lot.
Well, they got the cleaner bathroom, so,
That's true.
Yeah, or the Flying J, if that's a reference that lands.
I was actually a truck driver for years, so I know all of those places.
Really?
Yeah.
So were you like a regional or like across the country?
Over the road. Mostly on the east side of the country. Like Texas to Chicago and everything east of that.
Wow. So what was that like?
That sucked. It was cool because I made a lot of money. They truck drivers get paid pretty well, at least, especially from where I was coming from before that. I was earning like $22K a year doing just terrible jobs. All of a sudden,
like winning the lottery.
Yeah, it improved my quality of life quite a lot. That's how I got a house and all of that. But I was never home to enjoy it. So I had a lot of money, and it was cool, and I had no time to spend it. Couldn't play music because you just had to be ready to go at any time. But that's how I have the gear that I have now.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can, even though it sucked, it still paid off in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if any of you aspiring young punk rockers are looking for a way to finance gear in a studio and all that, go be a truck driver for 2 years.
Yeah, not for nothing, there are a bunch of careers I kick around, just like as a what the fuck would I do in this case scenario. Bus driver is one I've thought of, but truck driver, I also love driving. And I feel like if I were to just knuckle down and be a truck driver for a year, maybe it would break me in my love of driving, but...
It will.
It would be an interesting experience to figure that out. So, so this whole truck driver thing has blown everything wide open. So, lot lizards at truck stops. How many have you seen? Ballpark it.
I was a truck driver for like 3 years, so 100 or so.
What's the craziest thing you've seen at a truck stop?
Someone smoking meth while getting a blowjob.
Whoa.
Nice.
I've seen someone smoking meth. Their dick was not in anybody's mouth, though.
Yeah, he was multitasking.
Hey, man, it's my motto. If you can double dip, I say do it.
Hey, good for them.
Yeah, that guy is a master of his own domain. Holy shit.
Not even being shy about, like, not even in his truck. Like, in the space between the trucks. He's just sitting there, getting serviced with the meth pipe, just...
Oh my God. Let me ask you this. I'm phrasing it wrong. Let me step back into the past. So before you became a truck driver, did you view that job and those type of people as having a sort of blue collar, salt of the earth quality, like a respectability?
Yeah, and I still do.
So I had a similar
Besides
situation.
the ones smoking meth.
Yeah. I had a similar situation. I think I've come around both ways because I became an electrician, which I sort of lump in with that, working with your hands, whether it be in the trades or on a truck or whatever, anything mechanical, I sort of lump in. And I got in, enjoyed the work, found out like what caliber of people I was with, realized that wasn't for me and got out, but still loved, in retrospect, every second of it, because it's where I heard the most fun prison stories. It's where I heard the most fun drug stories. And the honesty of someone who is quote unquote blue collar will floor you.
I mean, that's the thing about blue collar workers. They are the salt of the earth, and the salt of the earth is not always pretty. It is not always
it's It's salty.
You know, it's sometimes it's smoking meth and getting your dick sucked at a parking lot. But you know what? We need them all the same. Think of the economy.
Yeah, every niche in society needs to be filled, people. So if you don't see a man on the street corner smoking crack, somebody needs to get a man there ASAP.
We got to solve the problem immediately.
Yeah, because if you build a doctor's office, doctors will come and inhabit it like the lowly bee. If you give yourself, ample room and enough Circle Ks, we'll have enough meth heads running around to fill the open fields.
Oh.
This metaphor kind of got away from me.
A little bit.
But so I digress from the truck driver stuff, which is interesting, but we'll have to come back to it. Let's go back to Sloth Fist. Do we have any more videos or anything planned for the current album, Mothman is Real?
No, we've already milked this album dry in terms of videos. This is the 4th, maybe the 5th. It's hard to keep track. If I was smarter, I would have that in front of me, but I don't.
For sure.
So we released this album pretty much a year ago at this point, and I love this album. It's clearly one of the best albums I have ever had my name to. But we're not content to just kind of sit on our laurels. So the next thing is finish writing these songs and on to the next record, and hopefully, play a bunch of shows and become world famous rock stars, develop cocaine habits, and, probably die of an overdose.
Flame out. Yeah. I would love to watch you all flame out and become coke bloated corpses.
Yeah. That's, I think that's every youngster's dream, right?
Hashtag goals.
Yeah. That's sinking a 3-pointer with your first shot ever. But, in all seriousness, I do, I think number one, it's uplifting to hear someone speak about an album that they have pride for. Because I talk to a lot of artists, no matter what their art, myself included, and they'll be like, yeah, there it is. I'm not happy with it. So enjoy it. No,
we worked really hard on that record. We spent a lot of time writing some of those songs. There's a couple that, whatever. But the vast majority of what's on there is really fantastic. And honestly, for what we put out there, we actually kept a couple from being on the record. Just because we didn't want dead weight.
You're doing what everyone should do, is living at the edge of your skill. It is so fucking easy to become one of those people who finds their groove and is great, now I never have to experiment again and never get any better. But especially when every song is different and all the emotions change and everything is this vast and wonderful cornucopia of whatever you want, all the elements, it's multifaceted. It's, it'll never get the recognition that it deserves. I am sorry to say that. You will never receive the acclaim you should. However, it is the most genuine and sincere form of art I have ever experienced.
Well, I appreciate that. We put a lot of work into it, and we're really proud of it. But at the same time, we can't sit on this forever. It's there's more songs to be written. There's more avenues to be explored. And we don't intend to pump the brakes on that.
That's good, because it's so, let me run this up your flagpole, since we're now on this sort of milieu. But everybody has that, what if? What could we have gotten out of the Beatles if Yoko hadn't a blah, 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 blah. No matter who your Yoko is or what your Yoko is, I hope that never happens to anyone. I want to see everyone go as far as they can, and not only get good, but get so good that you start to decline and then eventually become shitty, because that drastic balance gives you longitude. Elvis might not be as popular as he is still to this day if he hadn't have so publicly destroyed himself. Is it the right thing? No.
Because the image of him bloated on the toilet,
right.
That's burned into the American spirit
psyche
forever.
Yeah, it's in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, it's as American as apple pie, really.
Yeah, it's like a Love's truck stop and a Red Bull.
Yeah,
But if he had stopped at his height, then he probably would have just faded. But since he did the whole flame out, now you don't have to flame out, obviously. You can just become really shitty at what you do, which will draw attention back to your good stuff. I don't want anyone to ever quit until it's absolutely 100% sure you can't even pick up a guitar.
Bless me. Like I said, I've been doing this my whole damn life. I don't know anything else to do for fun besides, drink and smoke pot. But, that's still not as fun as playing music.
Right. And those can supplement your creativity.
And they do.
We could get into all the ups and downs of the intricacies of life. But before I ramble on and we get further and further off topic, maybe we start wrapping it up so I don't go down those avenues. So let's talk about, rubber hits the road. I want people to go and see and hear this. You'll find a link in this show description, like the show notes for the new released video. So go check that out. Where can people go that will benefit you the most to experience your music?
Slothfist.com.
Nice.
Yeah, we're professional. We have a .com. We have made it.
Yeah, they offered us the .net, and we said, fuck that.
Nah, .com. Honestly, any way you look at us, you can look at us on YouTube, Spotify. I don't really give a shit. Just do it. I'm not here to tell you how to eat your Reese's.
Right.
We put it everywhere. So just look the name Sloth Fist into any search bar you want to. We'll be there.
Yeah, it's good stuff, guys. I realize punk isn't everybody's cup of tea, but let me tell you a little something that'll blow your goddamn mind. Everything is everything. I used to have, and that's it. I used to have a blatant disregard and even I hated Westerns. I was like, Westerns are boring, they're old, they're for old dudes, my grandpa likes Westerns, so phooey, I said. Then when you get older and you realize the setting is just the setting, every story is and can be good no matter where you put it. And that's what Sloth Fist is. It's a good story told over good music. And I've lost the thread. But I can't think of a better way to describe what just happened.
Hey, that's fair.
Yeah, moral of the story is it's worth your time and attention. And if you're like, oh, punk isn't, maybe that's my point. Sorry,
Yes.
I lost it. Here we are. Punk isn't for me. If you ever, here's another tangent story. Sorry. I work with a person.
Would you say then that we are the good, the bad, and the ugly of punk bands?
Bingo, baby. I told this to a person I work with who is way more educated and richer than me. They said to me, I don't like rock and roll. And I said, what the fuck? Is this the 50s, bitch? I like soft stuff. I like jazz. I say, if you can blatantly disregard an entire genre and all of its radiating subgenres, you are someone I can never talk to again. And I turned around and she disappeared in a puff of smoke. So what I'm saying is, if you say, I don't like punk, shut up. You like music. Punk is a type of music. You can like punk. Don't label yourself or pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah, just listen to music. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not. If it's not, move on. If it is, keep listening.
Right. I used to say, I hate country. And then I found what actual country was. And I was like, no. So there's that.
Yeah.
What else we got going on? Where else can people... if you're a vinyl fan, can they get the vinyl still on your website?
Yes, you can, because we have a shitload of them, because we printed them and then we weren't able to play shows, which is where we would primarily sell these records.
Yeah, and I assume that's the only virtue of me getting one. So get yourself a vinyl, because vinyl is coming back, and I want to indulge those who are willing to partake. I've got the vinyl. I've played it on an actual record player, so it does work.
It does. And you get the bigger artwork on the vinyl, which I think that alone is worth it because that artwork is dope.
Yeah, it totally is.
Big
and
fan.
I'm a little upset that I can only see one side of it at a time because the back is cool too.
Yeah,
I just need to get another one.
yeah.
Oh, that's
problem solved.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna have to double up. I
Talk
need
to
another
Mark.
frame.
He'll help you out.
Mark, I need more. I need more vinyl jackets, ASAP. All right, man. I super appreciate you coming on the show. This was great, and I hope that in some small way we can get Sloth Fist in every mouth and every ear.
Hurrah! Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, man. I hope we can moving forward. I would like to have more interactions, maybe do some more live stuff. Because if you're listening, depending on where you are in time and space, you could be hearing the live music that you're playing on the live show right now. Ooh. I don't want to freak you out, but it might be happening right now.
Whoa.
Whoa.
So yeah, like if you are as I and you like Sloth Fist, like let's get some shit going here. I think we need more Sloth Fist because
I'm down.
It's such a bummer. I'm going to stop not letting people stop, if that makes any sense. I'm gonna go and get up Popeye's ass until he makes another band.
Do it.
And if you ever stop, you can expect me in your ass. So get the throw pillows and the love seat ready.
Bring it. Want to go to war? We'll go to war.
Oh, man. So is there anything you want to... We do a little staff recommendation portion of our show where you don't necessarily have to recommend yourself or you or just something you enjoy. What do you want other people to partake of?
All right. If you like Black Sabbath,
Okay.
check out a band called Ningen Isu. And that's Ningen space ISU. They're Japanese doom metal, stoner metal band. They're all like in their late 50s and they fucking rule. Like just they are amazing. The guitar player looks like Mr. Miyagi, bass player looks like Uncle Fester, and the drummer looks like he's supposed to be like Yakuza, but he kind of looks like an Elvis impersonator. So it's just like it's a visual delight as well as a delight for the ears. So that's something a lot of people don't know that they should know. Past that, Sloth Fist rules.
I'm on board with that. Yeah, I'm going to recommend... I think I've recommended them before, but I want to say it again, so maybe you've heard of them. One of my favorite power fantasy metal bands is 3 Inches of Blood. If you've never heard of them and you like metal and are okay with hearing about orcs and sea battles and other like Lord of the Ringsy type shit, and this isn't even my thing. I'm not a Lord of the Rings dude, nor am I an elf or orc lover. But
would it help if I showed you my Dungeon Master's guide?
Oh, you're gonna love 3 Inches of Blood. You need to go out and pick up. I think my favorite album is called Advance and Vanquish. I might be getting the title wrong slightly, but that's the closest I can get. One of my favorites, if you like metal and if you like nerdy stuff like Dungeons and Dragons, it will be your jam. I'm
definitely going to check that out.
Krista, do you want to recommend something?
So, I know a lot of people are going to frown upon it,
Boo.
but like I had never heard of Steel Panther until I met David, and now I love hearing their songs, minus the words, but I love the musical aspect of that band.
Yeah, they're another band that gets labeled as a joke where each of those members is insanely talented.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they get discounted because they say pussy or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. But to each their own. I still love them genuinely and sincerely.
Yep.
They're definitely doing their thing, and I respect it.
Yeah, I realize it's not everybody's thing, but if you can look past or, work around or just accept it for what it is and not be stuck up about it, you'll like it. Right on. Once again, Eric, super awesome. This was great, and I can't wait to hear more about driving trucks.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, guys. So thank you for listening. Thank you for participating in the show, all the lives. I want to... everybody who's listening, and with the sound of my voice, I want to thank you as well. So until next time, and until next week, hopefully, I'm Dave. Then you.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Krista.
Saying, the world is your oyster, so crack it open, and also crack open a new Sloth Fist album. See you next week.
And we're out of time.
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.
All right, we're on.
Okay. Yeah, let me get my gum out of my mouth because I'm a professional.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, damn, those are nice sine waves.
Full disclosure, I used to have a couple of those SM7Bs and loved them, but fell out of it. Finally got rid of both of them, hated it immediately, but I never got rid of my Electro Voice. I love this thing.
Well, this is just the nicest one I own, but I don't do a lot of studio stuff. I just wanted to have something to record my sultry vocals.
It works, and you couldn't have picked a better, like, that industry standard, but you know that.
Yeah.
Let's start the show.
Yeah.